How good is gather round? How good is footy? How good is winning? This is the Sash, definitely not the official podcast of the Essendon Football Club. I'm your host, Rob, here with you on a Monday for the review show. And joining me in the studio is James. Hello, mate.
Hey, Rob. Good to be here after a win. You're absolutely right. Winning is fun, and all it took was a sacrifice of ungodly expensive fuel to be poured out on the hanger, and that got rid of whatever curse was going on for the last 300 days. So I know that's with Vic Police at the moment, but we'll do anything to break our curses, and the old exorcism of some sort with the fuel out there seemed to do the trick. And are the Dees our bunnies?
At gather round, they certainly are. At Adelaide Oval, they certainly are. Maybe not at the MCG, but they definitely are at Adelaide Oval. Ryan, does the club owe the person who burnt the grass an apology, seeing as we've now won?
Well, considering that they appear to have been a shaman, yes, I think that there's a case to suggest that, yes, they actually were doing us a favour, because since then, I don't know what the hell got into the boys over the weekend, but they put on a serious performance. And I got to admit, I'm a little bit embarrassed by how happy I am, because it's actually like shameful how much my mood is up already. Like I know I'm not the best father of a 1-year-old because I've watched the game 4 times.
How many with the child?
2.
Okay.
So I'm trying to explain to him sort of the ins and outs of like nice, well-paced football, and I thought the weekend was good. And
this is 666, so when they go here, and this is the lasso rule. It hasn't quite been figured out just yet.
This is Jacob Farrow. He's a fucking gun.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch my language because he's starting to figure out words. But yeah, it was a hell of a weekend, and just so refreshing to actually be able to watch content about football and not feel sad. So very exciting.
Yes, it is. I almost kind of forgot how winning felt there for a little bit. And look, I'm sure if I had been in attendance, I would have been much more in the spirit. But I was sitting there during the last quarter when it was a done deal mid-1, and I was like, I kind of forgot how I should be feeling right now. But yeah, it's nice to roll into a Monday and Essendon are not a discussion point about anything negative in the press. There is no coach chat. There's no player chat. It's all about something else, and we can just enjoy this week and enjoy the fact that we've got the monkey off the back. We've got a win, and we're no longer at least now it seems, we're no longer a wooden spoon contender. We're just a bottom 4 contender, and that's a great place to be. We might have 2 more of these in us. So.
Although in saying that, you were just educating me, Ryan, on the potential number 1 draft pick of last year when we were speaking before jumping on air. But it is a nice feeling, and when there's 50 million different shows and podcasts during the week, it can get pretty grim every time you turn the TV on or open up Instagram and there's a reel about Essendon. So hopefully that's all just Carlton this week, and we can continue on our merry way and hopefully keep this momentum going, because it's certainly much more fun winning, and we often don't win full stop, but we definitely don't often win like what we did as well. So it was nice to sit back and enjoy that last quarter and put that back on again to watch this afternoon when I was putting some notes together. That was party time, and we don't get that too often.
But you think about what a weekend. I mean, Collingwood lost, Carlton lost, and we won it. It was if the Bulldogs had actually gotten over the Hawks, it's nearly a perfect weekend. It honestly was. I'm a big fan. Like, I didn't really understand Gather Round when it first started. I wasn't neither here nor there about it. Right now, though, we are having some fun when we go to Adelaide, and, I wonder if we should play a few more games over there. God knows we still get a great crowd in South Australia. We've got a lot of Bombers fans in South Australia, so it's bloody... it was just... Yeah, I think when, Rob, you were talking about not being able to quite understand how to feel it, it's an alien feeling to be sitting here, and I don't have a list of bads on my phone. It's all goods at the moment, and it's safe to say, I think we're going to win the premiership.
Yeah, exactly. The last time we won by 40 points or more was round 10, 2024. And the last time we won by at least 41 points or more was against West Coast the year before that in 2023. We won at Optus by 50 points. So it definitely feels like a while that we've had a resounding win like that. Like, it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes into that last quarter, even 3 quarter time, to be honest. It was like, this is kind of done, the way that we're playing, the way that we're setting up.
That's striking stats.
Yeah, and I think to look a little bit more sort of holistically at it, the last 6 quarters of football we've played have looked good. It's looked like the football that we've seen in the Brad Scott era when things have been going okay. And it's nice that we're seeing this again, because I think like most of us sort of felt that was something that we'll never see again, particularly the way last year ended and the way we've started. But seeing that ability to control the tempo, control the pace of the game, and also do the hard things like winning contested footy, winning clearance and stuff like that, it really just kind of all came together in that one moment. And now I'm like, oh, okay, there's a bit happening here. And I mean, the other crazy thing is not only did we win, guys, but no one got stretchered off. No one's done a hammy or done an ACL, time of recording. Everyone's okay. Which, when was the last time that happened that we had both these things occur? Like, it was always like, oh, no, we won, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And now you can look forward to the next few weeks and go, wow, what's it going to be like if Reid, Ridley, Mackay can get some continuity? What's it going to be like if Parrish, Caldwell, and potentially Sardis as well can play a bunch of footy together? What is that going to bring from this team? Because we just haven't been able to see that. And yeah, I mean, we said it off air before we started, but I'm really shitty. We're playing the Suns this week up there. Like, I would be pumped to go to the footy this weekend.
Yep.
I'm sure so many people in Melbourne and Victoria would be as well.
Yeah, a real shame that we, like we said, couldn't skip forward one round and have Collingwood this week, or a Carlton or a Richmond. Just keep the momentum going. And, I'm sure there's a lot of Essendon fans feeling like us now. Maybe we've turned that corner, get behind the boys, go to a packed MCG, go to a packed Marvel and really build some momentum. Unfortunately, we go up to Gold Coast, which is kind of the complete opposite of that. And, we expect them to respond. And it's really tough playing up there. We know that. Geelong got belted opening round up there. Hopefully we can be competitive, though. And I think it's a real opportunity in itself for the players to kind of come out and show, hey, this wasn't a one-hit wonder. Like you said, Rob, there was clear signs against the Bulldogs. We started to kind of change the way we played. And on that, credit to Scott. I know we hang a fair bit of shit on him, and lots of supporters like to do that after a loss, but credit where credit's due, because there was a clear change of the way we were playing against the Bulldogs, and obviously they're a pretty classy outfit, but against the Demons it came together, as you said. Numbers behind the ball, kind of with that measured, precise ball movement, and personnel helps. When you've got someone like Farrow, you bring back Ridley, and you've got Reid there as well. You've obviously got the skills to be able to kind of execute a game plan like that. So I know there's a lot of talk around, well, why would we change from what we were doing in the preseason? But I just wonder if Scott didn't have the confidence to go with this sort of game plan until he had the people back that he wanted. I had a stat here before that was on the radio from Triple M. Mackay, Ridley and Reid, 7 games together, which is crazy to say in itself. 5 wins. Yeah. So you can see when you get that consistency of players together, you can start to play the way that you want to, with the guys that can kind of execute that game plan. I thought it was a little bit similar to the Hawthorn style of play in terms of getting numbers behind the ball and then kind of moving in waves and having that overlap happen. And that also allows you, if you are to turn the ball over, to kind of have a little bit of protection. Whereas we know those first 2 rounds, or 3 rounds, how infuriating it was where we'd have a bad turnover, which we still turned the ball over in this game, but it was kick, goal. And so to have kind of the ability to defend off the back of that, but then go quick sometimes and that steady kind of uncontested marking game. We were -4 overall with marks against the Bulldogs, and then we were +61 against the Dees. Before that, I think it had blown out to around -80, -100 in a couple of those first ones. So a clear change. So credit to Scott and the players for executing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I do wonder how much was that just them not being able to actually do it in those early games, whether it be just by, I don't know, personnel or lack of confidence in it, or just the other teams just being good and negating that fact. Because it definitely seemed, particularly in that first quarter, like the goals Melbourne got, they really kind of kicked them out of their ass. Like there wasn't any like really clear good passages. Like the bad mistake that led to that, like let's be frank, a sick goal from Latrell Pickett.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall what the first goal was again.
I think it was Cozzy, wasn't it?
No, it was Bailey Fritz like 50 out on the boundary, which look, beautiful kick, but like I'm sure there's enough data to say that probably doesn't happen 1 out of only 1 out of 4 times. That probably goes in 1 out of 5 times maybe. And And then they got that patch in the second quarter, Melbourne, where they were putting us away. But I did have that feeling the whole time where I was like, it feels like we are in control, but they're just scoring efficiently.
Yep.
And then as soon as those chances really started to dry up for them, it went away. And I guess the area of the ground where, let's be frank, when Caleb Windsor ran out of that first centre bounce, I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
And we turned it around and we won it in there, which I'll be honest, I did not expect us to win. I was like, if we win this, we can grind it out, but it's going to be one else, other places on the ground. There won't be one there. And that really was the big turning point.
I thought it was so true that once we got on top in the middle, that really did set up the rest of the game. And that's really credit to sort of how we used Peter Wright. But what I was so amazed with when I was watching us play this patient sort of style and very careful movement. And if things weren't going right down one boundary, we'd move it back and go down. And it feels boring, but it was so successful. And it reminded me of that first season when Scott came and that's felt like the mantra, even in the first couple of weeks of this year, and obviously, as you alluded to, James, that we didn't necessarily have all the personnel, there seemed to be a need for movement, and that really wasn't suiting us because I've seen on a lot of different shows they've spoken about in the last couple of weeks our issues of actually being able to hold teams up when they're on the rebound. But, both of you just mentioned that, we were able to, when things didn't go our way, if we did make a mistake towards the forward part of the ground, Melbourne just had no outs. It kind of reminded me of when Richmond used to bring that wall up and they'd have that wall that would go to about the centre square and it would just push up. And I felt like, well, if it's not Reid, it's going to be Ridley. If it's not Ridley, it's Farrow and then Mackay. And, people have really applauded Mackay's game, but it really just shows that when the defence is up and firing, he's able to do what we brought him in to do, which was to take that biggest forward, to take those marks and really body them. And he looks so confident when there's competent players around him. And it was just so remarkable to see. I was really quite taken aback by his game and even Reid, who's not necessarily had a great start to the year, but really started to flourish. And obviously my boy Farrow just getting his Rising Star nomination off a very good game down back. I feel like if any part of the ground was sort of the start of all of our action, it was that defence. Obviously with Roberts with 42 touches and that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think like you mentioned there, it's the ball movement just didn't feel manic, did it? There was patience there. All of our back six all had 10 plus marks, so it does show that we were able to move that ball around. And again, I kind of refer to what Hawthorn did to us round one, where they would just continue to shift the ball and short kick in and an overlap, and they'd just be really patient and wait for something to open up. And I think that's what we did to Melbourne really well. So it did all kind of start from that back line. But then again, it's nice to go and win contested ball as well and show that it wasn't just a one trick.
One feeds another, doesn't it?
That's right. Yeah,
that confidence that you build. It's amazing what happens when you keep control of the ball, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then also some positional changes you mentioned right there before. I know, Rob, you gave a shout out in the group when the game was going around Langford's role, which seemed to be kind of playing as a defensive winger, start on the wing and then push back. I thought he had a really, really good game.
Epic.
McGrath went to centre bounces, which, again, bit of a whipping boy amongst the faithful, but he'd done a great job on Cozzy, who's been one of the most informed players in the comp. I thought that's Wright's best game. I know he's had big bags of goals, but I think to go up against Gawn, arguably the best player in the comp, and to nullify him, but then also just have a terrific game himself and then sit behind the ball and give us confidence when Melbourne did go long. How many times was he there to take a grab or compete on the ground? Caldwell moved to half forward. Durham didn't have a centre bounce attendance last year. They were our absolute go-tos to kind of change the momentum. So Caldwell to sacrifice his role but still have an impact on the game, allowed Parrish and Sardis to play in the same side, which I'll put my hand up. I was first to say that can't work. That can't happen. So, for a lot of the criticism around Scott, I think it focuses a lot on him playing the same players week in, week out. We try the same things week in, week out. Hopefully this is kind of the start of something new where he's got the personnel he wants. Maybe this is what he's been working towards for a long time, and touch wood, these guys can stay together and hopefully we see a few more performances like that.
Isn't it amazing though when he has chosen to make these changes this week? Obviously 4 ins, 4 outs, and then he has made those positional changes. I understand, he didn't have the personnel, but it's like it's amazing. And that's what we were looking for. We were looking for a change. We were looking for things to be mixed up a little bit, try something different. And finally, we're seeing in just one outing how potent that can be. It's and even just, how many times have we just screamed out for just a fucking tagger? They realised that Cozzy was going to be a problem, so they went, well, we know a guy that can work on him, so you just follow him. Same thing with, it was great when you saw Peter Wright and Gawn. I think he spent 85% on him. It's just like, wherever he goes, you're going too. And just having those two, and I think you mentioned it in the preview that how many years has it been Cozzy Pickett and Max Gawn in the coaches' votes for Melbourne? If you turn them off, it's fucking over for them. And we really were able to do that. even when they got out, Cozzy obviously was still, really, really, really good on the day.
He was still their best player, but the word Brad used was like blunted. It's like he still kicked 2 goals. He still had plenty of the footy, lots of good things, but there was he wasn't the best he's ever been.
Yeah.
And I think it would take a seriously talented player to absolutely shut him out of a game. But yeah, it's interesting. McGrath attended more centre bounces than anyone else in the team.
Yeah,
more than either of the ruckmen, anyone, which is absolutely crazy. And then obviously we saw the mix with Parrish and Sardis as well, getting in there. It's really I'm really interested to see how much this stays because no one gets omitted from that team. Everyone's playing against Gold Coast bar any injuries. How are they going to shift the balances again? Because you look at the Gold Coast and go, okay, there probably isn't a player for McGrath to tag who's a mid forward for them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Petrarca's fit, but again, I don't think that's the kind of player that McGrath could go to.
I'd be putting Durham on him if I was going to put anyone.
Yeah. All right. So McGrath's probably going to spend some more time in the back line. So how's it going to shift now? Does that mean Langford moves a little bit to half forward and someone comes out of the wing? Does that mean, okay, maybe we do have to omit a defender? This is
where David Rath comes into his own as the strategist king.
the strategy king. What do you do? I don't know. But the strategy was pretty good on the weekend. Let's shout out some individuals. We've been talking pretty team and broadly, but let's talk about Peter Wright. And as an extension of that, a bit of a chat about the ruckman, because Pete was awesome. He's had a couple of pretty solid games there playing through the ruck. Worked really hard. He looks quite fit as well.
Yeah.
Got back when he needed to, pushed going forward as well. And then it's interesting to see how, there were times there where obviously Blackiston was starting as a key defender and then would push up into the ruck. And it's knowing that, okay, Brian's going to come back at some point and Blackiston's probably going to get omitted. So how's it going to change then? Because Peter Wright's obviously not going to drop back. How's it going to work?
It's fascinating, isn't it? I was talking to myself, on the toilet after the game, and I was just discussing this with myself.
Is this where you have your conversations?
Yeah. Well, my wife can only take so much, but I was thinking about that because you go, well, naturally, Nick Bryan is going to be your guy, and it was so interesting listening to the team, obviously because Archer May re-signed today for 2 more years, and there was a discussion about how, and I was listening to Kako talk about how there was a bit of an onus on him and the younger guys to take control of the forward line. As you guys mentioned, Kyle Langford went down back, and it really felt open. It felt, you had Edwards there as the man no one ever marks. May, who was leading
Mr. Edwards.
Mr. Edwards, I'm so sorry. Please don't put me in detention. Caddy kind of roaming sort of like a free-range pig. And and then you had Kako kind of moving up and down the ground as it was needed. It was so open.
Hey, don't forget about the barometer, mate. Jade Gresham.
Yeah, dude. The worst thing was I was watching this game going, fuck, do I like Jade Gresham? He's fucking awesome. But I know, I do think that there is a really, really good discussion to be had, because as much as I thought Peter Wright had a great game, he was a great ruckman and he did well where we needed him. Yep. Putting him down in the forward line doesn't necessarily make us a better team.
No, not necessarily, because I think as we've seen for a long period of time, Peter Wright he's definitely a focal point in the forward line, which I think can sometimes be a detriment to the team, because it's just all right, fuck it, we'll just go long to Pete and hope. And he doesn't seem to stick big contested marks. It often bounces out of his hands or he gets spoiled. If he gets it, great. He's a beautiful kick. We know that. But to his credit, Archie May can take a really good contested mark.
Really good.
Now, his kicking needs work. Don't get me wrong. It was great to see him slot that one on the angle where he did the banana kicks. I was like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a point again. But that's something you can work on. Whereas I feel like that marking is a bit more of an innate thing that you've kind of got or you don't. And yeah, like I like it. It's a fresh looking forward line. It's exciting. They all offer something different. Like it's funny to me, Edwards in a way is how I used to feel about Peter Wright. Is that if Edwards has the ball inside 50, I'm like, oh, that's a goal.
Yeah.
Like he's a beautiful kick at the ball. In the same way, that's how I felt about Pete. And then Caddy's is just Nate Caddy and kind of does what he wants. So yeah, like assuming one of those guys, like unless one of those guys gets injured, like Pete's not going back to the forward line anytime soon.
I think bringing Langford and Wright out just made it a lot more mobile. And even, on a couple of those quick transitions that led to that Kako goal where he sort of tapped it on in front of him and ran into an open goal, that wasn't really, there was nothing really happening there. It was kind of a long bomb to Caddy, bit of a 2-on-1 situation. And if that was right, Melbourne are cleaning it up and running away.
100%.
But Caddy's athleticism kind of led to him winning that contest and turning on the boundary, and Kako did the rest. And I think it was a couple of times that sort of May's athleticism, even though I think he only had 3 or 4 disposals, you kind of felt like he did more than that because he seemed to be everywhere. And when you've got that mobile forward line, others are creating space for each other. You can't all kick the goals. And what did we have? Multiple 12 different goal kickers and multiple kick two. So
Yeah,
I think that
two.
probably says it itself. Whereas in the past, we have relied on Wright one out, but maybe not have won the game, even if he's kicked a few goals. So it looked a little bit better, but it'll be interesting to see, to your point, Rob, whether this was horses for courses or whether this kind of stays, because as you said, Gold Coast have a bit of a different midfield setup with kind of Rao being that focal point, and he had a really good game on the weekend after a bit of a slow start coming back from injury. So he's a completely different player to pick it. So do you still persist with the McGrath? You probably don't. So that changes the dynamic.
Rao would snap McGrath in half, to be honest with you. But to finish on Pete though, this Witsy, great. This is a perfect opportunity for him to go ahead against another really good ruckman, a big ruckman, strong ruckman. Great, you get in there, and then we'll get Blackiston in to chop out.
Yeah, because we won't need to worry about Nick Bryan this week, because obviously the VFL had the week off with some representative football in SA. So I imagine he'll probably get one more go in the twos.
You'd think so.
And then Anzac Day is the one where we really have to start asking some questions, because, I think this week you could almost cut-paste what we did this week, because Witts and Gawn, they're two of the premier ruckmen, but, Peter's proven that he can go with Gawn, who I've never seen a guy complain more on a football field than Max Gawn. You ever seen him get a free kick against him that he wasn't?
It's called Ruckcraft, buddy. It's called Ruckcraft.
He's such a sook. And even when he gets a free kick, he's still sooking. Grow up. You're like 8 foot tall. Jesus. No, it's I think these are, as my father would say, good problems to have.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. And like the fact that you were able to bring in, what was it, Ridley, Caddy, Sardis, and who was the other one? The fourth one who came in?
Roby.
Yeah, exactly. 4 guys we could just bring in based on people being fit and available and playing well. And we omitted people. We omitted 4 people. Like, when was the last time that happened and it wasn't like 4 rookies like last season? You know what I mean? So,
and all 4 that came in were fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
No one looked out of their depths.
Yeah. Real quick Sullivan Roby chat before we talk about some other people. Look, didn't get a lot of the footy, but the one thing that stood out to me the most was the fucking size of the kid.
Ridiculous.
Like, I've seen him at training. I've seen him walk past me like the couple of times I've been at the hangar. But when you see them against other AFL players, I feel like is when you really notice it. And that first time he got tackled, like, if that was Jacob Farrow, if that was Dyson Sharp, if that was any of the other players who've debuted for Essendon last season, they're probably caught holding the ball there. But he just broke out of this tackle like this fucking Hulk man and got the handball away. And I was like, oh my God. Okay, no wonder. And again, like, there'd be 10, 15-minute patches where you wouldn't see him. But then when he did get the ball, I was like, okay, I can see why this kid was taken when he was. Because once he gets used to the speed of AFL football, and continues to be an even bigger Hulk man. Like, I don't know he's going to come because he was at a few stoppages around the ground. I noticed sort of hanging off the back, and I was like, wait till they can go. All right, you get in there.
Patrick Cripps is what he is, what he can be. A healthy Patrick Cripps, not injury prone Patrick Cripps. Because I love that he broke the tackles, but he can lay them, and it just even when he got the ball, he had that sort of patience again. Like, you know, after 2 games of Jacob Farrow, I expected Jacob Farrow because he's my boy and he's
rising star, by the way.
Yeah, absolute rising star. And he's just
he got the nomination.
Yeah, he's winning it.
Yeah, sorry,
it's already done.
Sorry,
he's winning it. They just haven't said it yet.
Jagger Smith, who's that? Never heard of him.
Fuck Jagger Smith. Spell your name right. But yeah, no, he looked comfortable, and that's one of the things that I look for in our debutants is them looking comfortable at the level, and Roby looked very, very comfortable. Yeah,
I would say like those 3 that we took in the first round have all looked pretty much able to handle the speed of the game and everything else. Like the other 2 who've debuted, I think have got some noticeable flaws, which we'll hopefully work through in time. But yeah, like, you know, he didn't light the world on fire, but I think everyone kind of went, oh, okay.
Yep.
There's something there.
He warmed the world.
By the way,
can we talk
about the
warm
warm embrace of Sullivan Roby?
I don't want to sort of move the conversation into a wrong path, but we still have to get Braden Fiorini and Dyson Sharp back into that side.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great problem to have.
I mean, Fiorini can play VFL this weekend, as far as I'm concerned. So,
forgot we got him actually.
I think Fiorini had the dreaded TBC without going too far off track. So he was that laid out against North.
Yeah.
Missed the game the following week, and then the latest injury report, I think he had the TBC.
Yeah, he's visited the Springfield mystery spot with James Stewart, and
maybe he'll come back.
I don't
maybe
know.
He won't.
Like I see other people been like, oh, he was at training today. I'm like, was he though? Was he really?
Was it him?
Like that could be an old photo. I don't know. I don't know if I believe you.
It's just an Italian guy.
It's just an Italian dude hanging at the hangar with an Essendon top on. There's a lot of them.
Yes,
There's a lot of them around. There's a lot of them around. Some of them are on this podcast. Yeah. What about the midfields, fellas? Let's talk about Elijah Sardis because he got his long-awaited crack after I would say thousands of comments every week. Where's Sardis? Where's Sardis? Give him a chance. But he came in, he took his opportunity, he kicked a goal, which was a very good pickup, I might add. Did it look good off the boot? No, but it went through. That's all that matters. But I felt like he did the simple things right, which I think is all we need from him at this point in time.
Yep.
And I was very happy to see him play.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said at the start, I was a big advocate for not playing Sardis and Parrish in the same side. So I thought, how's this going to work? But obviously with those positional changes we saw before, they sort of sacrificed a couple of our midfielders in Caldwell and Durham to allow it to happen, and both were excellent. I think I agree with your point there, Rob. Sardis knows his limitations. I don't think he tries to bite off any crazy kicks. He has a lot of the ball, and some people say he doesn't do much with it, but you do need an accumulator. You do need a clearance player. Some will say that we've already got Parrish. We don't need both, but obviously they showed that can work on the weekend. He still went at around 50% efficiency, which is the worry with him. But if we can get some good ball users around him and he knows his role, I think there is a place for him. I just worry around some of the better sides. Do we get found out on transition when we've got Parrish and Sardis in the team? But when you're winning contested ball, they look really good. My question is what happens when teams start to get on top and start transitioning? Does that make it a little bit difficult? But yeah, we've seen one sample this year and it was a positive. And I guess my hope for Sardis now is he does get a good run of games, and let's see what we're working with, because he's done his time. He's gone away in the twos. He's practiced hard on his kicking. I know we have a laugh about that, but he has done his time. So let's give him a good crack at it now. Yeah,
and I think what you said there is perfect. He does need a good block. I think this is a contract year for him, so I think it's actually in the club's best interest to give him a block of maybe 4, 6, 8 weeks, just to be able to walk away going, we gave him a really good crack. We know what we're keeping or we know what we're getting rid of, and we don't have any, what if sort of scenarios. I thought he performed really well. He finds the ball, 59% disposal efficiency is not good, but he can find it.
That's not uncommon though for inside mids. Like,
I suppose
there's a lot of good inside mids who you look at the numbers and go, oh wow, they were inefficient with it, but they still had an impactful game though.
Sexy Darcy Parish went at 82%.
Yeah, that was the comparison.
That was the problem.
That's rare.
Well, he's always been claimed for disposal, hasn't he? Parish,
never criticised.
No, I've never criticised.
Yeah, I think that's the tricky thing. Sam Durham had 16 disposals and 10 pressure acts, and Merritt goes 31 at 77, and Darcy goes 34 at 82. But I think Sardis had as good a return game. It was lovely to see the energy after that goal.
Yeah,
it was really great to see, and it felt like the boys knew it meant a lot to him too. He looked like a 10-year-old at Auskick, just pumped, and I was so rapt to see that for him.
I kicked a goal. Mr. Edwards, look at me.
Yeah, get out of the bench. But no, I think that was a really good first outing, and definitely deserves to keep his spot. And now it's up to him, and I think the club should be saying to him, dude, this is your chance. So don't fuck it up.
Other midfield you mentioned there, Darcy Parish. Close. I think we'll get to the votes in a sec, but he was close to best on for mine. That was what we've been asking ourselves the past few weeks, is that can he get back to playing good football? So far, it looks like he can now. Looks like he's had a few games. He's back used to the speed of it. It's weird, but he looked composed.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just like him getting older or Melbourne not having good pressure in the game, but I was like, this is strange to me. Like, even when he was playing at his best, it still felt like he could be a little bit erratic. But I was like, who is this? Who is this Darcy Parish? Because it's not someone I'm used to seeing.
It is alien, and it kind of reflects how badly we've been going as a club, that we're startled that one of our earliest picks that we've ever taken and a guy we've put a lot of years into is playing well. But we are.
He wasn't all Australian. Yeah.
It was a remarkable feat, to see him with the ball and he hit targets and you saw him running with the ball and making those options open up. It was like, and they said it on the commentary that he kind of turned back the clock like he was a 34-year-old footballer that hadn't played good football for years. But this is the game that we'd been waiting for, and now the trick is the trick is to back it up, much like Sardis and I guess half the team that we're probably going to talk about tonight. Let's get that next week. Win, lose or draw, let's get that next week, and then we get it the week after, and so on and so on and so on. Because I really enjoyed the weekend, and I think a win's so important to the confidence of the guys. But now it's up to them to go, all right, doesn't matter who we're playing, we've got to back it up, and this can't just be a blip. Because sitting here this time next week after a potential drubbing, and these guys are all back to their shit form that we're accustomed to, is not something that I really look forward to. So. Now it's Darcy's turn to, do it again and keep that 82% disposal efficiency, because he looked good, and he, as you said, Rob, he was nearly best on ground, and that's something I haven't said about Parish for a long time.
Yep. Should we do the votes?
Sure.
So with one vote was Isaac Kako.
Yeah. Had
some good moments, kicked a couple of snags. With 2 votes, I think this is well unders, but Darcy Parish got 2 votes. With 3 votes, Big Peter Wright. With 4 votes, Zachy Merritt. And no surprise, with 5 votes, 42 touches, and really putting the competition on notice is Archie Roberts. Is he the best pick 54 that Essendon's ever had?
Off the top of my head,
54, yeah.
Off the top of my head, I would say yes. But have you got someone else there for me?
No.
Judd Lelich.
Judd Lelich. I don't know.
Is it like it was interesting listening to some of the commentators over the weekend post the game talking about he'd been how Roberts had been tried in the midfield in the preseason and did this sort of performance suggest that maybe they should try that again. And I was very thankful to see that there were a number of commentators that went, no. This shows how good he is as a halfback. What have you got, Rob?
I've got someone. Okay, I'm going to throw some names at you.
And I thought you were setting it up.
I saw his face just light up.
it's nice when me being unprepared actually turns into something good, because I've just been like, I just threw it out there just off the dome, and now I've gone back into the retest. I'm like, oh, there's something here. So I'm going to throw some names at you, not just Essendon players. Some of them are Essendon players, and there's actually quite a few Essendon supporters, and you tell me, are they better than Archie Roberts? So I'll start with a couple of easy ones. Jaden Davey.
Yeah,
Yep.
no.
Nick Hind. Mitch Brown.
Oh,
Essendon Mitch Brown, not the Eagles one.
No.
It's better than him. Now, this is the hard one. 2007 with pick 54, Essendon select Cale Hooker.
Oh. On the wealth of his career,
It's
Cale's
Cale.
got
Yeah,
it.
It's Cale.
Cale's got him.
Cale's got it. For now.
Yeah.
For now.
But Archie's
that is your challenge, Archie.
Yeah.
That is your challenge.
Kale
Archie's
never
coming.
had 42 disposals, though. I can
No.
hang my hat on that.
I'm
without
sure his
doing the
opponents
re-
did, though.
But Archie's coming for him.
Archie's coming for it. Sorry to go off there. I'll tell you what, though. Can't find many other good pick 54s out there. Like, I'm going through... Oh, Jack Payne for the Lions. That's probably like... I mean, Cale Hooker might be the best on this list.
Other than sweet baby Archie Roberts.
Ed Langdon.
Yeah.
There you go. So he's pretty
handy.
good. He's pretty good. So there's two premiership players at pick 54, which is Payne and Langdon. And Cale Hooker is an All-Australian. And then you have to go back all the way to 1988 for Michael Sexton, who won a flag with Carlton and a couple of All-Australians.
But what's Cale above them all is none of them have a wine brand.
That's it. Sexton Wines, never heard of it. You take your All-Australians and your premierships. I got a Shiraz, mate.
Jaden Davey Goonbox.
Yeah. Anyway, Archie Roberts. Interesting thing for me today. I was at an event, and two people who go for different clubs. When there was a bit of footy chat going on, and I chimed in. Someone's like, "Oh, who do you go for?" I had Essendon. There's two different conversations. Two different people both said to me, "Gee, that Archie Roberts is pretty good." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Now everyone else is talking about him, because we've been talking about him for a while, but it feels like now after two very strong games, he's getting a good look.
I think the one thing that we've been drawn to from Roberts from the start has just been the way he goes about it. That bit of mongrel, some clear leadership traits within his game. But yeah, now he's delivering. And yes, you're always going to get attention when you have 37 last week, 42 this week. But I think we've known for a long time we got a good one. And like we've spoken about on here before, let's just leave him at halfback, let him do his work.
Yeah.
He can still impact the game there. We don't have to make everyone a midfielder.
How many former Haileybury boys have ever been described as having a bit of mongrel in them? Because it's not the type of school that you really described as, a lot of mongrels come out of Haileybury.
Those damn mongrels. He would have played under Lloydie then. If he
Lloydie spoke about it. He was able to coach him for a couple of years.
There you go. Footy tipping update for the premium footy tippers. Tommy is an equal first with me. Yes. I tipped 8 on the weekend.
Wow.
I tipped
solid.
I tipped the Suns.
Did you tip us?
Yeah, I did.
You sicko.
I know. I lied to everyone on the premium thing. I apologized in the Discord, but I just had a feeling, man. I had a feeling, and I was happy to get that. But I tipped the Suns, which sucks. And in the Supercoach premium group, Crap Apps is first, and Roby-Wan Kenobi is second. Caddy's horse trainer is third. So
The only update we want.
that's the only update we want. Archie Roberts is fifth.
This is the best name ever.
It's some good names. There's some good names. Fellas, anyone else or anything else you want to single out before we have a little breather?
I'm just going to shout out Day Wicks. I thought he had a really good game.
Yeah, well said.
I want to do this too. Yeah. How good was he?
I mean, some might think that he's, a little bit further down on the list. When you have a good game like this, it's really easy to name your good players. But I was really impressed with him. I thought his work rate, number one, was just excellent. I felt in that third quarter when we're sort of starting to get on top, he just seemed to be everywhere in the important moments. And at one stage, I wasn't even really sure what position he was playing, because I feel like he was competing at half back, and then in transition, he'd be up in the forward line. But I remember being at the North game with you, Rob, and Joel, and seeing him in the flesh for the first time this year, I went, fucking hell, he has put on some size and looks super fit, and I think he's starting to show that. And I just think he could be a really solid role player for us. And, I don't think he's ever going to be the shining light in the side. But, to have a good team, you'd need those kind of workhorses that just do the dirty work. And I thought he had a terrific game.
Yeah. Is he the best pick 6 rookie draft selection we've ever had?
You start looking that up.
I've got it ready. I'm ready. I prepped that while you were speaking.
I just want to say really quickly, you know what I like about him? He's really brave with his kicks.
Yeah.
We talked about Sardis knowing his limitations. Daywicks doesn't think he has limitations, and I like that.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a cockiness to him, and there's some assuredness. When he's got the ball, he'll take on a tackle, he'll go for that tight kick, and it really, really pays off. So, strength to strength at the moment. And that goal he kicked, I think it was in the third from the boundary, it had a great bend on it and looked great.
Was he the captain of one of his undersides?
Under 12s?
Not under 12s, but I don't think he was like Vic Metrovic country captain or something like that. But no. I feel like he had some sort of leadership qualities, and he was pretty well rated. And then he slipped through, and we got him as a rookie. And there was always a bit of we've kind of done it right here, because he was one of those guys that leading into the draft, everyone's like, this kid's going to be pretty good, doesn't get picked, and then we got him. So I don't know. 2020 rookie draft, Essendon select Marty Gleeson.
Solid player.
Serviceable, warnable boy.
Solid player. That's the only other Essendon rookie draft pick 6 selection we take other than Archie Roberts. But I can throw a couple of names at you.
Yes.
A couple who have played for Essendon. 1996, Mal Michael.
Oh.
Yeah. 2001, Mark Jamar, the Russian.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there you go. And then there's Tyson Stingle's on this list. He's probably the best player of that group, I'd say. Although actually, it's probably Mal Michael.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're underselling Mal.
Sorry. I remember Essendon Mal Michael, not Brisbane Mal Michael.
Mal Michael was a beast. He was amazing.
Yeah, until he came to Essendon. All right. Daywicks was great. Let's take a little breather. We'll come back with some hot takes right after this.
It's that time of the week where we get some totally rational and well-adjusted opinions onto the pod. On the Sash, it's Hot Takes.
Hot Takes.
They would have been listening to that a fair bit, I reckon.
We did get to hear it for real, didn't we? And the players sung it with a fair bit of gusto, which I enjoyed too.
Underrated word, gusto.
Gusto.
All
right, let's get into it. Plenty of gusto here on Hot Takes this week. Let's just get straight into it. This is the Badger. Up.
Up the blades.
Not bad. Not bad. Garrett's in Canada. Thank you, Garrett.
Boys, how we doing? A lot fucking better now. Oh boy. Usually afternoon games, so it's evening game for me. I drank too many beers because I'm upset, sad, angry, the usual. But today, yeah, we're drinking too many beers because we are fucking winning. God damn it, the future looks bright. Archie Roberts, you're a goddamn stud. Even guys like Paris look good. Fucking Peter Wright, serviceable. Langford looking good in the back. Oh, God, I don't understand. Up the plains.
Right on. Have you guys seen that clip? I don't know what the radio show is, but they have some guy who calls up saying he can tell the difference between a soft drink can and a beer can being cracked open.
I have seen that.
And they like go through like 5 or 6 drinks and it gets everyone right.
God.
And it's just like to the mic, this is, and he gets it. Incredible. Anyway, this is Mason. Thank you, Mason.
Do you hear what I'm hearing, boys? Chugga, 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 chugga.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Chugga, chugga, chugga. Choo-choo! Go the Bombers. Lucky snow season coming up, you flogs.
Is that Jesse in disguise?
Could be. It could be.
The conductor himself.
Yep. Take 3. This is whatever this is.
This is take 3 of We've Got No Talent, and I'm going to be doing I Kissed a Girl by Katy Perry. We won a game and I liked it. That merit snap had me throbbing. Mackay took a pack mark just to try it. 1.8 mil a year is so worth it. We didn't bang it long, going locked down by right. Marjorie is getting some tonight. We won a game and I liked it. Boom, 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 boom. I liked it. Out the plains and fuck the door.
I appreciate the little drive-by there at the end. That was really good.
I appreciated that a lot.
That had it all. It had in-jokes, it had rhyme, it had everything that I love about this show.
Who sent that in, sorry?
Well, the name is Take 3. I have an email. I have an email address here, but I don't want to dox the person who sent it through.
When are we going to get some Marjorie merch, by the way?
Well, we'll see. This is All Aboard. I wonder what this is about.
Boys, I don't know if you can hear it or not. There's whispers that the Don's train is back. It's arrived at the station. There it is. The Don's train is back.
Yes. Very good. Roby Kenobi.
Push the timeline up. The 7-year window starts now. Sullivan Roby is the same size as Marcus Bontempelli, and he's played a single game of football. We might win next year's flag.
Yeah, you said Paddy Cripps. I'd rather a Bontempelli, thanks.
Is he really that big?
Yeah, the Bonds. I mean, the Bond or Sully, you mean?
Sully on Bond.
Well, they're both pretty big. This is Willie the Wise. Thank you, Willie.
Yeah, we fucking take them ones, don't we? We'll take that. Fucking, let's stop messing about. The man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour. Sharp as a fucking arrow. Jacob Farrow. He's just like Jordan Riddle, but with more fucking swag. Up the fucking plains.
He was very good. Oh, Faz?
The Faz.
Yeah.
He needs to get his own arrow celebration going, I think.
Can we
the Farrow arrow? Caro's arrow is gone. Farrow's arrow is in.
I just want to talk about arrows because we really forgot to mention that Xavier Dersma maybe had his best game for the club. He was awesome.
He was good. He was very, very good.
I just didn't want to let him slip under the radar because, obviously I heard an arrow and, he was good too.
He was good. This is Bakes. Thank you, Bakes.
We lose every week. We lose every week. How shit must you be? We lose every week.
Very good. Marky Mark.
Well, boys, that was a well-deserved win, and we're all thinking of it right this second. Marjorie must be getting destroyed. Well, boys.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Marjorie's getting her own segment.
Which is great because I can see the list here and I know what the last one is.
I was going to ask.
This is Scotty Might Know.
Guys, what do we think about Brad Scott? Like he lost 17 games in a row. He's come out and got a win today. It looked really good. I'm not saying could it just be a one-off because we looked fucking really good as well. But do we think that this is a one-off, this is bullshit, or do we think Brad Scott's actually taking us in the right direction and can do something, or will he get sacked before the end of the year?
Good question. The optimist in me looks at those patches that we've had under Brad where things have gone well, like the start of last season before the injuries happened, or the season before where we were fucking top four until God knows how long, until the arse fell out. Seeing that makes me go, there is something here. Like anything that happened from like the buy onwards last year, I just have to mentally put a line through. The optimist in me thinks that there is something here, but I also am not very confident in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's my very sitting on the fence answer, which is what I usually do.
You're getting a fence pain up your ass.
I got splinters in my bum right now with that statement. But yes,
I don't think he's getting sacked this year. I'm confident in that he will see this through. We need someone there to see through the rebuild, regardless of how it goes. I think he's the man. But I think, like I said, he's shown the last couple of weeks that we can we can pull some changes. We can change the style that we want to play. We've got some personnel back, so I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. But 17 games v1, there's a long way to go. I
think that there was a point at the start of the year, had we continued the Port Adelaide and Hawthorn games, had we kept losing by 10 goals, he would have been sacked, because I think just the pressure on the club, whether justified or not, I think he would have ended up being sacked, because you just can't keep losing like that.
Yeah.
However, as you guys just mentioned there, you've got moments in the North game where things were going okay. 2 quarters against the Dogs that started to look better. This game looked much better. Now, as fans, we're starting to see, okay, so you throw Farrow and you throw Reed and you throw Ridley back in, and then you get a forward line that's got options, and you've got a midfield that's competing for spots. Now it's like, okay, I think we've seen enough, and it's only a small amount, but I think we've seen enough that the club would have to see him through till the end of the year.
I thought he was getting sacked by round 12. Isn't that your prediction?
He was. Yeah, he was. He was 100% getting sacked, but I didn't see him pulling out this fucking good form of football that we played on the weekend. That's the thing for me. Like, I know you can really go early on these sort of things, but what we saw on the weekend was jarringly good, and it looked so much better than we had in the first 4 weeks. It's just now going, okay, so that team can do that. All right. Now it's up to him as a coach to replicate that week in, week out, win, lose or draw. We can't get belted again. We've got a fit list. We've shown that we can get it together. It does seem to be coming together. Now it's time to go, all right. The only way he gets sacked is if we fall back into that pattern of losing by 10 goals, having just seen what we saw on the weekend. But I don't think he gets sacked at the end of the year. But I'm with you on the fence over there, Rob, because I've written too many aggressive articles about it.
Quick question before we play the rest of these hot takes. What's a passable result on the weekend? Like, no one fancies up in the Gold Coast. They play very well up there. They're coming off a couple of disappointing results. Like, what can you walk away with and going, okay, that was okay?
Under 4 goals.
Under 4 goals. Okay.
Yeah, I probably would have said 6, but I think it's probably more looking this week at what total score can we limit them to. I probably expect them to win, but could we make it a grind? Could we make it a real dogfight? And, class probably prevails, but a little bit like the Dogs game, I suppose, minus that, obviously, first quarter. Can we grind it out? Can we stick with them? It can be pretty slippery conditions up there, so could we make it a real contested fight? Because, they can pile on the goals pretty quickly. And
it's going to be at 12:30, which is probably good for
low
humidity.
That's
nice.
That's true.
Not a shitty twilight game.
Yeah, sometimes they can look like wet weather football games even when they're not. So maybe that'll be, I don't know, maybe that plays into their favour a little bit. I wouldn't mind a bit of a shit fight, might suit us a little bit better.
I think James onto something there. It's how you lose. If you lose. If we're going to lose and we assume we're going to lose, that's how you're losing. I think that's going to come down to it. If we get whooped like we do against the Dogs, and then the Suns just sort of, just coast for the rest of the game, then that's really demoralising. If we're done by quarter time, that's a bad look. But you're right. It's that grind, and fuck it. They're looking pretty average at the moment. Who's to say that we can't just make lightning strike twice, go into Anzac Day, thrash the Pies, and here we are just fucking frothing.
Yeah. I've got us down for a 30-point win. I don't know what you guys are talking about. All right. Rory. Thank you, Rory.
So, less of a hot take and more of an apology, a forced apology, I guess. Firstly, Darcy Parish may have suggested over the last couple of weeks that you should be banished to the Tombs, traded, never see the light of day in the first team again. Bradley David Walter Scott may have suggested that you should be fired and no longer coach this team. It's starting to make me look a little bit stupid now on both fronts. I was maybe a little bit harsh in my reactions. 17 losses in a row do that to you. But hands held up. Things have improved the last couple of weeks. Today was outstanding. So, yeah, cards on the table. Apologise, lads. Try and be a bit better and more patient going forward.
Well, you're not alone, Rory. I can say that. You were not alone.
We are all guilty of that.
Yes.
And it's like with Rory, no. Keep the passion, keep the rage, because that's the only thing that's going to keep the pressure on the boys.
Yeah. Beck from Oz. Thank you, Beck.
Hey lads, sorry it's been a while. Beck from Oz here, joining you just outside of New York City. What a game, hey? 'Twas a grey Saturday arvo in old Adelaide town, but for me it was night when that first bounce went down. From afar I tuned in with hope running thin. After months without joy, could the Bombers actually win? Amongst gather-rounds festivities, both sides shipped away. No home ground, no home comforts, just play on, they'd say. A crowd in mixed colours, not really sure what they'd see. And let's be honest, not many tipping Essendon, except maybe Jessie and me. But Merritt stood tall at, that snap from the side. A banana that bent, even physics complied. After the first half, oh boy, that's where it all came alive. 11 goals to 2. We'd certainly done more than simply survive. Young Caddy chimed in with a couple on cue, and Roberts had 42 touches. Hang on a minute, can that really be true? 323 days later, at last a smile, at last a victory. The Bombers had broken through, and that, boys, that was a damn good win. Don't you agree? Up the plains.
Wow. I feel like Beck writes Dr. Seuss books in her spare time. That was tremendous.
So that's a real news reporter voice.
Yeah.
I feel like Beck could read the news. She could upgrade from hot takes.
I love it. I have a small child at home, and I read a Dr. Seuss book almost every day. And that had a very similar cadence to it, where I was expecting her to start saying those weird made-up Dr. Seuss sort of words, Wocket in the pocket. Kicked a goal on Tony Lockett. Anyway. Ziggy. Thank you, Ziggy.
Did you ever know that you're my heroes? Oh, I'm in a toxic relationship with this club. One of those real destructive ones. But today's one of those days where you've just got the drunk text, you're heading over there, it's like a rock, and you're ready to fall in love again. Give it to me, boys!
He's not wrong. It is a toxic relationship with this football club.
He's right. I mean, I feel great this week, but I felt shit for the last 4.
Yeah.
Like a rock got me, though.
Well, fellas,
what could it be?
What else? How else could we bring this home? It's been a theme this week, which is nice. I like when a bit of a theme appears, and we can wrap this package up with a nice little bow on top. So, let's pray to Marjorie. Here we go.
Well. As you may recall, gentlemen, I have a peculiar fascination with only making love to my dear Marjorie when the Bombers win. As you can imagine, the last 300-odd days have been particularly hard on Marjorie. She's an old hornbag, but she sticks with me because I make a mighty fine Lancashire hot pot. I digress. 5 minutes into the last quarter yesterday, I received an MMS from Marjorie. She was cosplaying as Princess Leia from Return of the Jedi with a caption, "Save us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope." Well, fair to say I cannot say much more, but I can say I've just come up for air. Wowee.
It's so much better getting to hear these live on the show for the first time, having not prepped them. Oh my God, that was tremendous. That was tremendous. What is a Lancashire hot pot? What is that? Is that innuendo or is that food? I need to know. It's food. It actually looks really yummy. It's like a potato stew. That looks great.
Fuck.
Oh my god! Sorry, I'm like
That's all
sniffing
time.
and crying now. Oh my god, that was so funny.
God, I'm so hot right now.
That was so funny. Well done, everyone. Great week of hot takes. Well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Well done, J-Dog. You picked some bloody good ones. Well done. Fellas, that is going to be the end of our show for the night.
Where do we go from there?
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Maybe next door to Wellington. I don't know. I don't know. Where do we go from here? Faithful, thank you very much for listening to the show for the night or watching us wherever you may consume the podcast. If you want to listen to more Don's content and sexual innuendo, then Thursday nights we have our preview show for our premium members. You can sign up via our website. You can find the links in our episode descriptions, or if you're a YouTube member, you can sign up on YouTube if that's your preference. You get an extra show every single week. You get access to the premium members Discord, which I can guarantee you is almost worth it for the price alone, just to get in there on game day and watch the sheer meltdowns or like unbelievable hype of when we get a win.
It's therapy.
It's fun. It's fun. Like to be honest, I'm gonna scroll all the way back on the game day thread is peak, but I posted in the game day thread at I want to say 10 a.m., 9 a.m. And I'm pretty sure all I wrote was, I'm feeling pretty confident. Am I an idiot? And there was several response said, you're an idiot, Rob. Yeah. But look who's laughing now. But yeah, it's great. We appreciate all the people who support this show. It is what keeps us here. Keeps the lights on, keeps us going. James, final thoughts?
Faithful, enjoy the week of not being front and centre of every media show and podcast. Leave that to Zach Butters and Nick Foote and Carlton.
Oh, yeah.
Interested to see how that plays out, especially after the recent result with the Collard case.
I'm reporting you.
Take that. But yeah, enjoy the week and let's see if we can back it up.
Ryan?
Oh, mate, just absolutely rapt to have such a good chat tonight about a joyous win. May we have a few more this year and go into the future feeling fucking pumped, because I tell you what, this has got me feeling bipolar, because I feel fucking jacked. I'm fucking jacked. I'm ready to go. Go fucking Bombers.
Yeah, you can run through a big roll. Thanks, everyone. Been a great show. Up the mighty plains. We'll see you next time.